I think that there's like a lot of confusion about how to properly like track what you eat. I think it's something that we say a lot of times as trainers is like track what you eat, use MyFitnessPal, log what you eat. There's ways to use this tool that will make it more helpful and more effective for you if you learn just keep a couple of things in mind. When you're first starting out, and you're trying to make a diet change, right? It's a good idea to track what you eat to begin to be more self-aware and become aware of what you're eating on a day-to-day basis, how many calories are in that food, how much fat you're taking in, and how much sodium. So initially, when you're just trying to kind of get a handle on what you're doing, just track as you go is a good place to start. And I encourage everybody to do that. If they're interested in making any changes about their diet, just start tracking now. And what you do is just log in what you do into MyFitnessPal or into your food journal after you eat or before you eat. And that'll give you like a snapshot of what your eating habits are. Do that for like a week or so, and then reflect on your habits, at the end of that week or two. And then moving forward, there are a couple of ways that it's best to use tracking that's going to make it a lot more effective for your goals. I have a little process that I recommend everybody do. It's on my blog. You can find it. It's like how many calories should you eat is the name of the article. So you can use that process to figure out how many calories you should be eating for whatever your goals are. It's all based around finding what your maintenance level calories are, okay? So then set that as your calorie goal. And then when you're trying to reach a calorie goal or reach a macronutrient goal, if you're tracking protein, carbs, and fats, log what you plan on eating before you eat it, okay? A lot of people make the mistake of logging their food after they eat it when they're actually, when they have a calorie goal. And a lot of times this is not helpful, right? Because it just kind of, all it does is it shows you after you've already overshot your calories that you overshot your calories. And the mental reinforcement that you get there is, oh shit, that's the mind process that you train for yourself. It's like, oh shit, I overate, whelp, and that's not really helpful, especially if you're trying to make a change. So what I say is after you set your calorie goal, log what you eat before you eat it. While you are planning on what to eat, plug it into MyFitnessPal or whatever app that you're using, and then see how many calories is in that food, see how much protein it has, and then make adjustments so that the meal fits within your goals, and then you eat it, right? And then you eat the food. This is so much better than logging after the fact, and it's gonna help you out a lot. Another thing to keep in mind is that fluctuations in your daily calories is totally normal. Most people that I know never hit their calorie goal perfectly every single day. For most people, they're usually overshooting it by 100 or so, or undershooting it by 100 or so in terms of the calories. And that's totally fine. I mean, even when I meal plan for people and I create a meal plan, I tell them exactly what to eat and when, usually those meal plans, they kind of average out to about what the calorie goal is. What you want to see is that over the course of a week, on average, you're roughly meeting your goals. And if you have a day where you go out to eat with friends or something, you have like a treat day, there's ways that you can still make that work within your diet. For instance, one of my clients, he went out to eat with some friends this past weekend, and so he ended up overshooting his calories. But what he did in the days following was that he kind of ate a little bit below his calorie goal so that it kind of evened out to about the average. And that's a really great strategy. So you can, as long as it's averaging out to your calorie goal, and as long as most of the time you're roughly hitting your calorie goal, you're fine. Remember the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time you want to be reaching your goal, and then 20% of the time you can kind of overshoot a little bit, and you'll be fine in the long run. Your body is going to reflect what you do most of the time. So if most of the time you're hitting your goal, then don't sweat it if you have an off day or an off weekend, right? Just get right back on track, or balance it out. Plan to eat fewer calories on a couple of days after a day that you have a lot of calories. That's how I recommend using MyFitnessPal or using food tracking, and make the most of it to help you stay on track. Those were really good questions that I love from my client. Make sure to like this video and subscribe for more trainer tips and exercise tutorials.